Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna start adding some more layers to this. I'm working with my set. And apparently, I have a tippy palette. Oh well. I think first I'm just gonna add in a new layer on this second one to actually to everything, but I'll do the circle after, probably after these guys dry all the way. Oh, he was trying to run off there. Caught him. It will seem, well, I know it did to me, and I believe to most folks who are just sort of learning this kind of watercolor technique, that it'll seem odd that you're painting these combinations of shapes when sort of the natural inclination is to paint each shape separately. And there's no reason you can't do that, but it will have a very different effect than addressing larger shapes and pre-planning how dark you're going to go, and letting that help decide what large combination of shapes you're going to be addressing at any time. It has well, it has several effects, but the most important being that it will help to unify a whole painting, so it doesn't look like a bunch of little shapes stuck together. Let's see if I can do this with this brush. This may be a candidate for the smaller brush I have on the supply list, but we're doing fine. This is a pretty big brush for this size shape, and you're gonna probably end up with way too much water and paint for that particular shape. So I'm making a thirsty brush. This is a towel. The towel's kind of handy to soak up some, and what I can do is use the paint that I'm soaking up to, and then shift it over to another area. There's, as long as things aren't wet and going to be drying in a problematic way, there's no reason why you can't oops, come over and spin around the paper to just to try to get a cleaner brush stroke. You can tell I'm struggling with this circle. I'll call that good for now. Get rid of the pooling stuff there. Over here, let's see what I'm going to do. Oh, one thing that's interesting is that, you know, I was sort of going too fast and not paying enough attention to getting all the extra wet paint soaked up along the bottom. So it did dry and created this background, this bloom, which is you know, one of signature looks of watercolor and very cool when you want it to happen. And I suppose, depending on your personality, even when you don't want it to happen. But glazing over shapes will have an effect of making it so any individual layer will not be as critical to the overall painting. And even though it's transparent watercolor, if I glaze over with a color that's a little bit darker than what's going on down there, it is gonna take the edge off of that bloom in a way that will make it not so noticeable. We may start talking about trying to scrub it a little bit along here, sort of lift up some of that, agitate it, and but that can get into yeah, we'll talk about that, but not, that's all I'm going to talk about it right now. Let's see. I think it's time to dry it again. Okay.